baseball for like ever. So
yeah, but it's Sunday, man. It's football Sunday. We got football to talk about, bro. I know you love your baseball, but it's football.
Baseball's
time.
every day.
It is every day. That's why I can't keep up with it. I would go insane. I would literally go nuts if I tried to follow baseball. I would kill myself. Like, there's no way. All right, let's go ahead and start this episode off with a little bit of an intro.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Chase Vernon.
What's going on, guys? Welcome on into another episode of Fantasy Intervention coming at you quick, fast, and in a hurry. I am joined over here by Thomas. What's going on, Thomas? How you doing, man?
I'm vibing right now. I get to watch some football while we do this. I'll try not to be too distracted by phrases like Tevin Coleman back deep to receive the kick. These things are throwing my brain off. I don't know if it's just because they're overseas or not, but my brain taking a little time to adjust to that.
No, absolutely. I mean, Tevin Coleman returning kick. What? That makes
well, anyway, it went for 65 yards, which is like the most mind-boggling, mind-blowing. Look, Tevin Coleman really fast if you give him a 20-yard head start to just amp it up.
No, yeah, he needs that time. Like, he doesn't have the burst. So it takes time for him to get up to top speed. And then, of course, we have the injury expert in the house, the real Adam H. What's going on, Adam? How you doing, man?
Good, man. Glad to be back here 2 weeks in a row. We got a lot of injuries, getting news as we speak right now.
I know. I pulled you in a few minutes before, like, teams actually have to have in their final report. So you're getting a little bit of head start on the rest of the group. I'm excited, man. We already have questions lining up in the chat. So get your questions in, girls. Get your questions in. Make sure you guys line those things up. And, of course, go over there and check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/fantasy intervention. Hit subscribe, hit like. And if you guys ask YouTube questions, we'll actually answer those before we answer any other ones. That's going to be brand new.
Can I ask a starter set question like early?
Yeah, go ahead. Like
just for fun. All right, look, check it out. Do we play Brandon Ayuk or Madison, knowing that Cook's not playing now?
Dude, I think I'd have to go. Yeah, you got to go Madison at that point.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like this. Yeah, I'm thinking that too. All right.
So
I need verification. There you go.
You got your verification, my
question
friend.
For the day. Look, just to kick it off, right? If your question involves Alexander Madison, it's like a 90% chance play Madison. I know it's not the Seahawks, but just to keep those ones short, there's like a 90% chance.
I know we're gonna get one like Saquon Barkley or Alexander Madison. It's coming.
I hope not.
It's coming. I promise you it's coming. All right, so let's go ahead and kick this off. Adam, I want you to discuss some of the injuries real quick, then we will hop onto these questions. I see Scott in the chat, Cameron, Wesley, Stratton, Cameron again, Scott again. We got your all's questions, but before we do, I want to get a little bit of a head start on these injury reports so we know what's going on so that, we can rely on one of the best guys in the industry when it comes to the injuries. And, let's kick it off with you, Adam.
Two of those questions are gross.
All right, so I'll run through these quick. I got a couple here because we got a lot of injuries that are racking up here. So, like we already talked about, Dalvin Cook's out. So Alexander Madison is pretty much an auto start this week. Also, if you missed it, for the Dolphins, Devonta Parker is out. They also have no Will Fuller, who's on IR with a hand injury. So I think Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki against Tampa Bay, shaky secondary are interesting starts this week. I've been getting a lot of questions about Antonio Gibson dealing with a stress fracture in her shin, which sounds painful. I'm sure it is painful. I'm still firing up Gibson everywhere I have him. I think there could be workload concerns. I think that RB1 ceiling that we potentially had for Gibson coming into 2021 probably isn't going to be there. He's been, basically splitting time with J.D. McKissic in terms of snap percentage. So I'm still playing Antonio Gibson. but I think his upside is going to be tempered here as Washington manages his workload going into the season. Joe Mixon, what were you going to say?
I said that's brutal. Like, that's absolutely brutal for a player that, we were hoping for a breakout. I mean, is this something that we're going to see like long-term effects from him, or?
I just think it's going to take some time for that stress fracture to heal. I think you're going to see him on the injury report for at least the next 6 to 8 weeks, probably not practicing during the week because Washington's going to want to manage that workload. So with a stress fracture, you don't want it to get any worse. So I wouldn't expect him to practice for the upcoming weeks. It sounds like he's going to play during the games, but they're probably going to manage that workload, which is going to limit his touches, which is going to hurt that ceiling that we all saw for Gibson. But obviously, I mean, we saw a couple weeks ago, he's able to break off big plays. I don't think it's going to hurt him in terms of his attributes, his explosiveness, his ability to score points for you. It's just going to limit the amount of touches that he's probably going to get because he's not going to be on the field as much.
All right. So who else you got?
I got Joe Mixon here. A lot of conflicting reports. I looked at the video. I thought when I saw it looked like a high ankle sprain. It sounds like it's like a low grade high ankle sprain.
He's officially active.
Yep. But Joe Mixon is going to be my fade of the week this week. He's a big avoid for me. I think in terms of like fantasy relevant players, 95% of the time, I'm going to pick somebody else over Joe Mixon this week. I just don't trust it. Last year, Zach Taylor told us that Joe Mixon, was day to day with a foot injury, and he landed on IR and he missed the last, 10 games of the season. I just don't know if I trust Cincinnati right now. I want to see it with Joe Mixon. So based on the video, based on what I know about his injury, and then based on what the Bengals have told us in the past, Joe Mixon's a big fade for me this week. I'm not putting him in any of my lineups.
Okay. And Green Bay is not a cakewalk defense to run on anymore. Like, I know that was the narrative last year, but we're at a point in the season where you should be kind of adjusting that. They're not as bad.
Yeah. So Joe Mixon, big fade for me. The other one that we're going to get, Cortland Sutton. He was a late addition to the injury report with an ankle injury. He's officially active. This one's a little bit trickier for me. I think he's a borderline wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. I'm trying to avoid him where I can. Since 2018, wide receivers listed as questionable on Friday with an ankle injury saw a decrease in production by about 15%. So Cortland Sutton's kind of been up and down this season. I think if you can, I'm okay pivoting off of him and going elsewhere at wide receiver.
I didn't know. All right. That's huge.
I got a couple more here. So Curtis Samuel, he's a game removed from that groin injury. Sounds like he's going to play. If you follow me on Twitter, I talked about with these groin injuries, players that come back, first game back, see a decrease in about 14% of their production. But the next 2 weeks, so the week 2 and week 3 removed, they see an uptick in production about 6 to 10%. Curtis Samuel only played 37% of the team snaps last week. I think you see him get a little bit more healthy, get a little bit more involved in this offense. I have high hopes for Curtis Samuel this week. So like we're talking about some of these players, I'd be playing Curtis Samuel over Cortland Sutton. I know that might be a little bit edgy, but he's somebody that I think could return to form this week. Another week removed from that groin injury.
That's interesting to me. So we're guessing that Teddy B is out then, right? Concussion.
Teddy, I think he's going to play. He cleared the concussion protocol, so Bridgewater's going to play.
Oh, he is active. Okay, so at that point, you're not just saying that they're feeding Sutton at that point. With how that offense works through, where Curtis Samuel has McKissick, Diami, McLaurin, and it's Tay at QB. Like, you're not worried about that at all still for Sutton, or is his injury just that bad?
I think when we look at it from a context standpoint, Sutton being a late addition to that injury report, injuring his ankle on Friday, like it wasn't something that he was dealing from last Sunday and he was kind of limited all week through practices. This is a new injury. This is a fresh injury.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if his snaps are limited. You know what I mean? Like if they
got you
go a little more Tim Patrick. I know they're thin at wide receiver. Might be a big Noah Fant game this week just because he's the most healthy guy. I didn't mention him because he's lower down on the radar, but the Broncos put Albert O on IR with an injury. Okay. So there's no Albert O. So Noah Fant I think is pretty much an auto start and you probably were auto starting him if you had him. I got 3 more I'm going to go through real quick here. TJ Hawkinson, I know people were worried about knee injury, green light, start TJ Hawkinson. He's a top end tight end. wide receivers dealing with hamstring injuries. We got Chase Claypool and AJ Brown. Chase, if you remember last year, we talked a lot about those first game back with a wide receiver coming off a hamstring injury. Laviska Shenault was like a big fade when he was dealing with that. He kind of got off to a slower start. Looking at production-wise, first game back, see a downtick in production by about 13%. Based on just like the way your team's probably set up and the caliber of these players, I'm okay starting AJ Brown. I think you have to start AJ Brown. He's a stud. But for Chase Claypool with some other options on that team, Deontay Johnson's active today. I might be pivoting off of Chase Claypool. And then looking forward finally with Russell Wilson, he suffered the injury on Thursday night, just so people, I know this is a start-sit show for today, but just so people have an idea of what to look for Russell Wilson. There's some conflicting reports in terms of how long he's going to be out. The Seattle reported 6 to 8 weeks. Some people think that he can maybe potentially play next week with like an altered grip. I think that's a little bit far-fetched. I mean, I don't get typically in my practice a lot of mallet fingers in terms of that injury, but if I look at a quarterback who has a career completion percentage above 65% and you're talking about altering his grip and things like that, I'm going to be a little bit skeptical. I think Seattle probably takes a conservative approach with Russell Wilson. This might hurt DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett a little bit. DK Metcalf seems like he's kind of quarterback proof. He looked good with Geno Smith. I'd be worried a little bit more about Lockett. But that's just something to keep in mind rest of the season when we're talking about Russell Wilson and the Seattle offense.
I will say that, Geno Smith and Russell Wilson, their 40 times are comparable, right? Their velocity of the combine was comparable, and this is like 10 years ago. Well, Geno Smith is like 2 years younger, so he probably has a stronger arm now. He's probably a little bit faster. He's probably the better quarterback. No, I'm totally kidding, guys. Of course, you want to see Russell Wilson back there. All right, so I did tell y'all we are going to prioritize the YouTube. We're trying to build our YouTube channel, so we're going to prioritize these first. If you want to switch on over to YouTube, youtube.com/fantasyintervention. We're going to answer our YouTube questions as soon as we get them. And then we will get started with the beginning of the show. Like I said, Scott, Cameron, Wesley, Stratton, Cameron, Scott, Robert, I see all y'all's questions. We're going to get to them very, very shortly. We're going to start out with Anthony. He's in need of some fantasy football intervention, Damien Williams or Kareem Hunt in a full PPR league. Now, the Chargers allow teams to run all over them. However, their dose score, the dump-off containment efficiency, is actually relatively good. They keep the pass catchers in front of them, essentially, and they don't allow their running backs, the opposing running backs, to get big plays. It's somewhat concerning to me with Kareem Hunt. Now, will I sit there and think that Kareem Hunt is unplayable? No, because you can still run up against him and he should have plenty of work inside the red zone. But when it comes to him getting the passing work volume, I don't know if it's going to be there as much this week, which is why I'm going to lean Damien Williams over Kareem Hunt. Damien Williams should see the majority of the carries, and although they did trade for a kick returner, which was Khalil Herbert's job, so that Khalil Herbert could stay healthy and actually move to become the RB2 on the Bears, I still think that Damien Williams should see about an 80% snap share. I'm going Damien Williams in this matchup.
Yeah, you're probably going to get 2 weeks to use Damien Williams, so I would. Oh, man, that's tough. Kareem Hunt's probably a better chance to score. Actually, I'm gonna go the other way. I'll take Kareem Hunt. Yeah, he's got a better chance to score, I think.
Yeah, I think just on workload alone, I'm going to go with Damien Williams. He's going to see the majority of the snaps, and then what Chase was talking about with him being able to get involved in the PPR work and be productive there. I think if you spent fab on Damien Williams, you're going to have him for a while this year. That Montgomery knee injury, I think he's going to be at least 4 weeks. It could potentially be longer.
I love it, man. All right, we're on to Scott's question: Harris or Hubbard? Man, Damien Harris, right? He's got a good matchup up against the Texans, and if he's not going to blow up this week, I don't know if it's going to be there for him. Now, it could be a fourth quarter where it's going to be Ramondre Stevenson's season, but I still think that Harris can get enough work in the first 3 quarters to remain fantasy relevant, along with a couple breakaway runs. I think that Harris is the go-to guy. Meanwhile, the Texans, it's not the fact that they don't allow a ton of points to the pass-catching backs. It's just the fact that they don't need to have pass-catching backs produce against them. So the Texans actually have the 3rd best dose score. So I just don't see the Patriots passing a lot to Brandon Bolden. I think it's going to be a Damien Harris week. I like Hubbard a lot, but I'm going Damien Harris on this one.
I'm going to go the other direction and go with Chuba Hubbard. Dallas has got a pretty good, run defense. And we've seen the Panthers like to go with a primary back and just run that guy. I think kind of a common theme here, like we were talking about with Damien Williams and Kareem Hunt. I'm going to take some of those fringy running backs that are just going to get the majority of the workload. So I'm going to go lean Hubbard with this one.
All right, Thomas, I think you're muted.
My bad. Look, Damien Harris has just been bad, and the New England Patriots offensive line is decimated. Give me Chuba by a lot.
All right, we have Cephas or Ayuk.
Gross,
all right, so
Ayuk.
Now this is where everything changed for me, right? Because I was not on Ayuk. In fact, I believe it was Thursday. I put Kadarius Toney over Ayuk in my dynasty rankings, and I was all about it. And then all of a sudden, George Kittle goes on IR, and it's like, great. This is exactly what happened last year, where hey, whenever one of them was out, typically Ayuk did well, either Deebo Samuel or Kittle being the one that was out. Ayuk did very, very well. Now Cephas has a great matchup, but there's a good chance that Patrick Peterson actually sees Cephas a lot of the game, and I do not like that matchup one-on-one. I'm going to go Ayuk in this one, but it is relatively close. I still think that Ayuk with the big playability is going to end up stealing this one. It really depends on if he lines up in the slot more often, but I think that's going to be Deebo's spot. I'm going to go Ayuk.
Yeah, Lance is just
same.
Huck it and chuck it.
All right.
Yeah.
So start Josh Jacobs or Melvin Gordon this week. Melvin Gordon's been splitting work a lot of the work with Javonte Williams. Meanwhile, I believe the Steelers' defense has been somewhat stubborn up against the running backs thus far in the year. I think they've been a little bit more porous up against the wide receivers. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs in this one. He's been seeing a ton of work, and he actually played on third down this past week. I don't know what Kenyon Drake did to get in that doghouse, but it's not pretty. I'm going Josh Jacobs in a landslide on this one. Agreed?
I never want to actively play Josh Jacobs, but he also gets the majority. So at the goal line work. So give me Josh.
Yeah.
And also, Javonte Williams is just the GOAT. So I can't be trusted with those takes.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I was going to say is like Javonte Williams has looked like really good in the limited work that he's gotten. You got to feel like at some point they're going to turn to him. It might not be this week. It might be a little bit later in the season, but Melvin Gordon's probably definitely looking over his shoulder. So give me Josh Jacobs.
All right. We have Deontay Johnson or A.J. Brown. Dude, Deontay Johnson's got a tough matchup over there up against the Broncos this week. The Broncos have been absolutely phenomenal over there in the secondary. They've been shutting a lot of teams down. Meanwhile, we talked about A.J. Brown, the injuries that he's dealing with. I think that A.J. Brown being pretty much the only receiver outside of maybe Jeremy McNichols, who's the running back over there, this could be a 15-target game over there for A.J. Brown this week. I'm going to lock in A.J. Brown saying that, hey, 15 targets is definitely in the realm of possibilities. I know it's a lot, but I think it's in the realm. Adam?
Yeah. I'm going A.J. Brown. I mean,
it's always A.J. Brown.
Yeah. I don't have anything back here, but when I do, it's going to be a framed A.J. Brown jersey. That's my boy. That guy's a man's man. I keep getting a lot of questions on Twitter about like his knees. Are we worried about his knees because he had off-season surgery? He had a pretty simple procedure scope. It might hurt his longevity, but A.J. Brown's going to be the dude in the league for a long time. And if I have A.J. Brown anywhere, he's an auto start for me.
So I wasn't aware of this up until right now, but Devonta Parker's actually out.
Yeah.
So Waddle over there prior to Devonta Parker going out, I actually liked Waddle better with Parker in there because he could have pulled safety coverage out of the middle. Meanwhile, you have Ross Cockrell, I believe, up against Waddle this week. I mean, this is a smash play for anybody in the slot. Anytime that you get Ross Cockrell, you attack that guy, and he's been attacked so far, and he's been absolutely atrocious. I mean, teams are just running all over him. I mean, Sean Murphy-Bunting was the actual slot corner for Tampa Bay before he got hurt. Now that he's hurt, and by the way, Sean Murphy-Bunting was one of the worst cornerbacks in the league while he was still playing. Now he gets replaced by an even worse slot corner in Ross Cockrell. I mean, this is a Waddle game written all over it. Last week, Waddle was wide open on multiple different opportunities. Jacoby Brissett just wasn't finding him. I think that he goes back, he looks at the tape after he targeted him 13 times, or was it 15 times, 2 weeks ago. I think that he could go back to Waddle, and Waddle be a focal point of this offense this upcoming week. I'm going Waddle over Gesicki.
Yeah, I never want to trust Jacoby Brissett for anything. I've said this, I think, every week he's played. So you're playing with fire the more you deal in trusting with Brissett. But I do trust Jacoby Brissett to throw 5-yard routes to Jalen Waddle because That's about the equivalent of his talent. I'd go Waddle.
Yeah, I agree. Waddle for the upside.
All right. Well, don't forget, by the way, the reason why Jacoby Brissett wasn't targeting Waddle was because he was targeting Gesicki, including in the end zone when he threw that touchdown. And Waddle was wide open in the back of the end zone. Not saying he should have thrown it to Waddle. I'm just saying Gesicki was the apple of Jacoby Brissett's eye. All right, Tannehill, Heineke, or Fields this week. Fields, man, like I'm starting him in a league, and I almost started A.J. Brown and Quez Watkins over Justin Fields just because I don't trust what's happening over there for the Chicago Bears. Matt Nagy needs to get out of town, man, before he's going to be successful. But I mean, the Raiders, I'm not saying they have a terrible defense. They've actually been putting pressure on the quarterbacks, and I don't even think they've been blitzing. I think it's been Carl Nawab, I believe his name is, or I can't remember his last name. But anyways, he's been putting tons and tons of pressure off the edge over there on Fields. I mean, on quarterback so far. I think that's going to continue with Fields this upcoming week. Meanwhile, Heineke does not have a great matchup up against the Saints. I know the numbers are a little bit different, and you cannot run on the Saints. However, I don't expect this to be a major shootout. Both the Washington football team and the Saints are tied for, I believe, 29th in plays run per game. They're they run a completely just sluggish offense over there. I don't like Heineke to see more than probably 25 throws this game. It might be a pretty matchup on paper, but I don't know if that's going to translate to fantasy points. Meanwhile, Tannehill, he has the upside where you're able to run. He has A.J. Brown back. He's up against the Jaguars, who can put up points up against the Titans. I think he's going to be forced to throw a little bit more often, and we could see some breakaway dump-offs from not only Jerry McNichols, but also Derrick Henry this week.
Oh, yeah, give me Tannehill. He gets a healthy A.J. Brown against that defense. Oh, baby. Statement game. Yeah. Easy money.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's closer between Heineke and Tannehill, but based on the matchup, I would go Tannehill. Heineke's been sneaky good with his legs this year, too. He's been mobile.
Agreed. All right, sup, y'all? I have Zeke, but I'm scared of his injury, and I feel like he's going to be limited. Should I roll with Pollard or stick with Zeke? Adam, this is up your alley, man.
Stick with Zeke.
All right. Harris or Hubbard is gross. That one was kind of gross.
I'm not even allowed to answer Zeke questions. Because Pollard's a better running back. All
right, so Robert has Waddle. Should he roll with Waddle over Thielen some coming week, or is Thielen an auto start?
Play Thielen. Touchdowns. Give me Thielen.
Yeah.
This is a Adam Thielen game. It looks like so. No Cook, right? Play Thielen.
Yeah,
Last week was like an aberration.
Yeah, this is a classic. Don't bench your studs. I mean, Adam Thielen's your wide receiver 2 on your team that you drafted. Like, he's done nothing to warrant a benching at this point. I know it's everything looks good for Waddle, but you got to play Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I'm trying to come up with a scenario as to where I would actually play Waddle. Like, maybe I'm down 20 points and I need 120 yards and 2 touchdowns from a player. But then I might still go with Thielen at that point just because of the 2 touchdown upside. Adam Thielen could give you 3 possibly this week. I'm hesitant because Ward should be covering Thielen, I believe, this week. But they might just stick to their own sides. I can't come up with a scenario where I would go with Waddle over Thielen, although I really, really like Waddle this week. I'm trying hard. Robert, I cannot find a scenario that I would go Waddle over Thielen. All right. Who should I pick to win, the Steelers or the Broncos? I'm locking in Broncos. It's not even relatively close for me. As long as Bridgewater's healthy.
I'll say Broncos. Steelers offense is bad. It's bad. Like bad.
I don't know if Adam's frozen or if he's just really focused right now.
I think he's frozen.
Okay.
Because he hasn't blinked in a while.
He has not. He could be really, really hyper focused. So we'll find out here soon.
Blink if you've been captured. Oh yeah, I can hear him.
Kind of.
I can hear him. Darnold or Hurts? Jalen Hurts. Oh, actually, wait. Darnold.
That was good.
just for the brand. Just for the brand, I got to say Sammy D.
Hey, they're on opposing sides. I think that, I feel like at some point they have to start handing the ball off to Miles Sanders. Like, they have to at some point. It's like one of the most frustrating things to watch in the NFL is how they're calling plays for this offense in the Eagles. I'm going to have to go Darnold, although
It just looks like Sanders is poo-poo considering what we were hoping he was going to be. He looks like
good
doo-doo.
when he's playing. He looks good when he's
but he's not going to get the workload. Everyone thought it was going to be like a LaShawn McCoy thing. It's not. It's not. He's just not what we were hoping, right? Like
it's the play calling. It's atrocious.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Darnold in this one, but it's very close. I mean, Hurts can always provide you that upside. So I guess if you need a floor, go Hurts. Like if you already projected to win, I would go Hurts. But if you need that if you need that upside, I'm going Darnold.
The Eagles' defense is dog do, right? Like they're getting run on like crazy, right? The play action is working. That's gonna be what Carolina wants to do. And Sammy D, guess what? He leads the NFL in rushing touchdowns.
So
give me Sam Darnold, baby. I love it.
God.
I love it. I have had the
on
opportunity to just punch away at all the haters in group chats.
I like Sammy D. I traded for Sammy D everywhere in my dynasty leagues. Get out of here. All right. Parker being hurt. Do I start Claypool or Gordon? I know Chase's answer. Should I trade MG3 for Connor? All right. So let's go with the second question first. Should you trade Melvin Gordon for James Conner?
No. James Conner is touchdown dependent. Melvin Gordon has a role. No.
What do you say?
Oh, welcome back.
Hey, yeah. I would.
The second part of the question.
I don't think I would trade Melvin Gordon for James Conner.
Yep, that's
James
what I
Conner's
told
been
him.
Super touchdown dependent.
He hopped in my DMs. I had to let him know. You got to go with Melvin Gordon. All right, Parker being hurt. Parker being do I? I think that's Parker being hurt. Does he start Claypool or Gordon this week? Oh man, this one's tough.
Wait, which one is? I'm assuming that's Melvin. Please tell me you're not playing Josh Gordon. Don't play Josh Gordon, everyone. Don't do it. Play
Hunter.
Claypool.
If that's Josh, yeah.
Play Claypool. The Canadian.
What if it's Melvin Gordon though? What if this is a flex question? I see you're still in the chat, Hunter. Let us know in the chat. I'm looking down at the bottom of the questions.
I'm still taking Claypool, right?
Melvin Gordon. He said Melvin Gordon. I'd probably go Melvin Gordon. I mean, I'm going to go Melvin Gordon this one. I can't trust Big Ben's arm. Like, that's tough. Like, that's a really, really close one for me.
I'm going to put my injury hat on and go Melvin Gordon. Chase Claypool coming off that hamstring might be a little bit limited in his production. I'm going to go Melvin Gordon based on that. Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to still go Melvin.
Sutton or Ayuk? Can we get your injury hat back on, or did you take it off? Is it still on?
It's still on. Ayuk.
Yeah.
You're going Ayuk. I'll probably go Ayuk as well.
Look, the narrative for the Ayuk folks, Jacob, is that you can't produce unless people are hurt, and like everyone is hurt in San Francisco outside of him and Debo. So give me Ayuk, and again Trey Lance, huck it, chuck it, football, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll go Ayuk as well. We got James Conner or Zach Moss this week. Ooh, the Bills have the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been somewhat porous up against the running backs so far this season. What do y'all think, and where are we going on this one?
I'm going to go with Zach Moss. I think the floor could fall out for James Conner sooner rather than later. Give me Zach Moss, who's actually been a decent pass catcher, too, for the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going Zach Moss as well. I think that he provides the red zone opportunities. The offense, Brian Daboll's protecting Josh Allen big time. He's making sure that he's staying on his feet and that he's not rushing all the time in the red zone like he did last year. His red zone attempts are down significantly. Zach Moss is a lock for me on this one. Like we talked about with James Conner, I mean, we don't know when that bottom is coming, but it is coming. So I'm going Zach Moss in this one. Thomas?
Well, what did I say last week? I'm pretty sure I took a big doo-doo all over James Conner and he scored like a bunch of points.
Yeah,
I'm still going to go Zach Moss.
Like
I never want.
That was pretty funny.
I never actively want. Look, and I'll admit it. Okay, I was wrong. I didn't know he would vulture 2 touchdowns. But look, I never actively want to play James Conner. Right? Like he's bad. He looks bad. He is bad. I just feel like Kingsbury is like, we need a big guy to score in the goal line because that's what coaches do. Zach Moss is actually a decent player. James Conner is dog do, so I always avoid Conner. Watching James Conner run the football makes me think I still have a shot on a walk-on opportunity in college. Okay, and my knees are gone, so that's how I feel about him.
All right, so we have Chase Edmonds or Chuba Hubbard. Chase Edmonds has been fired so far this year. I believe he's like running back 12 or so. He's borderline RB1 this far in the season, depending on what your scoring is. I think that Chase Edmonds is a smash play in this one up against San Francisco. San Francisco bleeds targets to the running back. At least they did in week 1. They haven't really played too many other pass-catching running backs since. I'm going Chase Edmonds over Chuba Hubbard in this one. And I like Chuba. I just don't think that this is the week I want to play him.
Yeah, this one's close
Chase
for me.
For me.
It's close for me.
Yeah. You guys are so cute.
It's close for me. No, I'm okay with Chase Edmonds.
All right, cool. So we got Chase Edmonds on all three of us.
Yeah, Edmonds is the RB13 right now, and with Connor vulturing his touchdowns in PPR leagues.
He's borderline RB1 depending on your
without
scoring.
The touchdowns. There's no way James Conner continues to either be healthy or score touchdowns. I just don't see it.
All right, so Jason says that he was going to go with Zach Moss in his flex, but with Dalvin Cook being confirmed out, he's going to go with Madison. I would probably do the same. Would either one of you guys do differently? All right.
No.
Let's see. Madison should have a field day. Yes, James Madison, I'm sure, has a field day coming up soon. All right. Ty, Corey, Davis, you're not doing crap. Mixon or Latavius Murray this week? Ooh, this one's tough, right? This is where you gotta draw the line. Let's go to the injury expert over there, Adam. Adam, which one are you taking? You taking Latavius?
Latavius. I'm telling you, I'm benching Mixon everywhere, and I might eat crow on this, but I do not trust the Bengals. I do not trust Zach Taylor. I do not trust that injury. I'm playing Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I just don't want Mixon. Right? He didn't practice all week. He's a pipe dream. Healthy Mixon is a pipe dream. Facebook user.
All right, so we just did this one. John's asking the question again. Chase Edmonds, Chuba Hubbard for running back. We all picked Chase Edmonds. What D should I run this week? I don't know. What Ds do you have available, Nick? Need one. Claypool versus Denver. Chenault versus Tennessee. Smith versus Carolina. Ooh, all right. So let's try and fight through this. Chenault was the apple of Trevor Lawrence's eye this past week after DJ Chark went down. He looked like, the pick that the Jaguars spent on him. He actually looked like he was worth it at this point. Been somewhat of a disappointment prior to. Meanwhile, Claypool coming back from an injury, automatically between those two, I'm throwing Claypool out. It's not even close. But what about Smith versus Carolina? If we're talking about,
give me Chenault
over Smith. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Don't forget Gilmore's over there now too. He probably won't be, obviously covering them, but now Carolina's back to having a very dominant secondary. I'm going Chenault. Adam?
I'm probably going to go Smith. I know that's confusing for people, but it might take a while for those Carolina. I mean, they got a lot of new faces in Carolina with Gilmore and CJ Henderson. I don't like the way they've been using Chenault, even with DJ Chark out. I mean, if Travis Etienne was like healthy this year, I don't even know if Chenault would be a thing the way they've been using him. So I just think Devonta Smith is the guy for the Eagles.
Well, Chris Jackson is their slot corner over there, and that's where Chenault's been lining up for the majority of the time. And when he's out, did you see the injury report for Chris Jackson by any chance? I know he was questionable. He missed last week, or he missed part of last week, and they played like 13 snaps. And then we ended up having Elijah Molden come in. Elijah Molden's been filling in the slot in week 1, and then again last week to an extent. And both of them look absolutely horrendous. They've been getting torched in the slot time and time and time again. So regardless of who's in the slot, whether it's Elijah Molden, whether it's Chris Jackson, whether I believe they moved in, what's the second or first round pick they spent last year? Was it Christian Fulton, I believe? Either way, whoever is in the slot over there has been getting torched. I'm going to go with Chenault. I think it's just a smash play. All right. Let's go ahead and hop over to this. Do I start Madison over Chubb now that Cook is ruled out in the flex? Has AK and Henderson started as your RB1, RB2. Obviously, Henderson has already played, so that's not even an option. So Alvin Kamara is not a lock for me this week. I know that's crazy to say. I am still going to play him over Madison or over Chubb, probably both of them. But Alvin Kamara is a little bit sketchy to me. He just hasn't looked good. They're not getting him the ball in space. I just don't know what's happening over there for the Saints. It doesn't make any sense to me. Meanwhile, Chubb, they're going to run up against the Chargers over and over and over again, right at the middle. This is a Chubb-type game. Chubb could end up touching the ball 25 times this game, and I wouldn't be shocked. I think that Chubb has to play. Madison up against Detroit. Now I'm kind of talking myself into thinking that maybe I should go Madison over Alvin Kamara. Where do you guys sit?
It's tough because Jameis Winston's turned Alvin Kamara from like Austin Eckler into Damien Harris. He last week was the first game that Alvin Kamara didn't have a reception in his career. That's crazy.
Week 1.
Second.
It's the first time he didn't have a target. It's the first time he didn't have a target in his career.
Week 1 didn't have a target.
I thought he had a target in week 1. He had one.
Twice. No, there was like a brief time where he had one, but they took it away.
Shit.
It's
disgusting. I just don't think I can get there starting Madison over Nick Chubb or Alvin Kamara. Like it's close and I get it. But I probably wouldn't start Madison over those guys. One.
That's weird.
Yeah, week 1 he had 4 targets. Yeah, it's the first time he didn't have a target. Maybe he didn't have a reception too, but I know that he didn't have a target.
No, he had 3. That's weird. Where have I heard that before then? All right, then. Don't listen to me, but don't bench
you
AK.
said it. You said it on the show last week too. I was like, what? All right. Yeah, I'm going to go Madison
Chubb.
AK. I'm going Madison and Chubb. I just talked myself into it. All right. Let's see. Where are we? Waddle, Ayuk, or Kadarius Toney. Oh my God, I love Kadarius Toney this week. I love Kadarius Toney, but I also love Waddle. And I don't like Ayuk. Ayuk's out for me.
I'm probably going Waddle.
What's the update on Sterling Shepard and Slayton?
They're out.
Give me Ayuk.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Ooh, man. I like playing against Ross Cockrell, but then I also like torching Jordan Lewis over there for the Cowboys. Oh my God, this is tough. I'm going to go Waddle just because he's proven that he can get the targets. But Toney looked so good last week. The dude looked like a champion over there. It's close, but I'm going to go Waddle. Oh, shit, I missed this one. Sorry, Kent. All right.
Can I throw a quick injury update here?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so it probably doesn't change things, but Nick Westbrook Okina for the Titans is officially out. So those questions that we were getting about AJ Brown's going to eat in this game. I don't think he was really stealing targets away from him, but yeah.
Dude, that's sexy.
Just wanted to update that.
Yeah, thanks. All right, sorry, Kent, we missed this one earlier. Let me make sure there's no more YouTube comments just to make sure.
That's my dad.
Oh, no way.
Shout out to Papa Hutchison right there.
Shout out to
dude, that's awesome.
Daddy.
Dude, that's awesome, man. All right, so we got Damien Williams or Alexander Madison.
We got to pick the right one here, guys, because I will not hear the end of it if we get it wrong. If we get it wrong, I'm not going to end
Madison. I'm going Madison.
It's pretty easy for me. I'm going Alexander Madison on this one. I know that Damien Williams could end up seeing the volumes, but so could Alexander Madison. Man, now the pressure's on. Now I'm getting kind of nervous.
I'm not going to answer because I don't want to get messed up. No, I'm going to say Madison too. I'll go Madison.
All right, cool.
No
you're
fear.
Welcome, Scott. Anytime, man. Make sure if we do answer questions and y'all do appreciate it, go to youtube.com/fantasyintervention, hit subscribe, and go give each one of these fine fellows a follow. You have at Thomas Tipple FF on Twitter and at the real Adam _H over there on Twitter as well. All right, the Bills defense or the Browns defense this week. Man, it's
I don't even know how to answer that question.
I can't play the Bills defense.
I'm going to say Browns because, again, you want the point. So you're chasing sacks and turnovers. Give me the Browns. I don't trust the Bills defense to provide fantasy points, only to be scored on. Give me the Browns.
Why are both of these teams rostered is my question. Adam, which one are you going with? Let me look something up while you fill this in.
It's the double defense strategy.
Yeah, you got to always stack those defenses. I thought the Bills' defense has been pretty good this year. Have they been really bad?
So they had They had the week up against Miami, right, where they had 6 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. I think they might have had a touchdown that week as well.
I think it's more that the Bills are playing Kansas City than it is.
And then they had
that
Houston.
The Bills have been good or bad.
Yeah, I mean, like up against Pittsburgh, they allowed They only put up 3 points up against Washington, put 8, and they dominated that game. Houston, yeah, you're going to dominate Houston. Whichever team is playing Houston, you're going to put up big points. And then Miami, I think that was the injury week for Tua, right? That's the week that he got injured up against the Bills. Or was that the week before? And that was Jacoby Brissett's first start. Either way, all right. So you did well up against good defenses, but they're going to get torched by Patrick Mahomes. Man, but I think the Chargers are going to torch the Browns too. I'm going to go the Browns, but I would look for waiver wire pickup, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Browns too, because again, you're just hoping to get sacks to negate some of the points scored.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I agree. Agreed. All right. Let's see. Hey guys, flex, half-point PPR, Myers, Beasley, or Miles Sanders. God, man, every time Miles Sanders gets mentioned, my heart just breaks more and more. It's so sad. Myers has a decent matchup against the Houston Texans. I don't know if the volume's going to be there necessarily. Meanwhile, Beasley, good matchup against the Chiefs. They should be passing a whole ton, so the volume should be there. And the Miles Sanders, we don't know what's going to happen with Miles Sanders, man. I finally benched Miles Sanders for the first time this season in one of my home leagues, along with, I believe, my number one league right now as well. I'm going to go Beasley in this and just hope for the volume.
Yeah, you have to.
So
Bills against Kansas City, right?
I have this
you have to hope.
Yeah. I have this exact dilemma, and I'm playing Jacoby Myers over Miles Sanders in a league. So preach what you're doing. I'm doing Myers over Sanders.
Well, Gainwell's just I don't know.
Gainwell's good.
He's
Good.
annoying.
I mean,
he's annoying.
He's good.
That was my baby since October of 2020.
You could get him in the third round of drafts, and he's just like, hey, remember that first round draft capital, Miles Sanders? Forget it. No, it's so weird.
All right, Teddy B, Mac Jones, 4-point per passing touchdown, 12-team super flex.
Give me Mac.
Mac Jones has a sick matchup this week up against Houston Texans. I mean, you said that you're starting Myers. Who's throwing Myers the ball? Of course, Mac Jones is. Teddy B up against, I know the Steelers' defense in the secondary hasn't been great so far this year, but I don't trust them coming back from a concussion. They're probably going to take it a little bit easy just to start it out, just to get the juices flowing again. I'm going to go Mac Jones. I just think it's too sexy of a matchup.
Oh, he hasn't even been bad. Like, Mac Jones hasn't been a bad fantasy quarterback. I know, like, he just dumps it off all the time. Who cares? He's doing pretty freaking well. Like, in a game that everyone said was hella boring in 4-point passing touchdown leagues, right? 17.9 points. That's fine. That's not going to lose you a week in a super flex. Do it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I'm going Jacoby Myers, then by just relationship, I got to go with Mac Jones here.
All right. Do you start Madison over Chubb? Chubb worries me because of split carries. I have Henderson. Oh wait, this question was already answered. All right, Thielen.
Does anyone change their answer really quick without realizing
it? I still went with Madison Chubb on that one. I'm sticking with it. All right, Thielen or Gibson? What do we got?
Oh my God.
I'm going Thielen.
I'm going to go with Gibson.
Oh my God, this hurts. This is like choosing between A New Hope or Episode 1. Gibson.
God. All right. Let's see. Good morning, David. What's going on, man? Edwards-Helaire or Chase Edmonds, full PPR.
Edwards-Helaire.
Oh, I'm still going Chase Edmonds in this one.
See, not back-to-back 100-yard rushing games, touchdowns. Give me Chase. Give me Helaire.
Yeah, CEH was
better
in preseason. People forget that he had like an ankle injury that he was dealing with. And I think it took him a little bit to get over that.
Yeah, I'm still going Edmonds. All right, Melvin or Schultz?
Yeah. Your opinions don't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm the boss. Click next.
Melvin or Schultz? No, he hates playing
Melvin.
A twin flex. I think it's twin tight end.
Yeah.
Man, all right. So the Giants are really weird. They shut out the tight end one on the teams, but did you guys see? I don't know if you guys saw my tweet or not. The Giants have allowed 4 straight games where a touchdown is scored. A tight end has scored a touchdown. However, it hasn't been by the tight end 1 on the team. It's been by the tight end 2 or 3. They shut down the tight end 1. I don't know if it's Real Preppers or if it's Blake Martinez that's shadowing their tight end 1, but their tight end 2 is eating almost every single week. It's like Lee Smith, Albert Aquibunum, It's just time and time again where it's not the premier tight end. So for that reason, they've actually played some pretty good tight ends overall. Noah Fant, like we talked about. And then, of course, Kyle Pitts or Hayden Hurst, whoever you consider there. Schultz might get shut down. I'm going to lean Melvin Gordon on this one, but it's close.
Just play the running back. Right? Don't play the tight end. Play the running back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Who would y'all start? Lamb, Deontay Johnson, or AJ Green today? Standard scoring. AJ Green needs a sick matchup. All right, so Russell Wilson, real quick story time. Russell Wilson does a great job at finding the receivers who match up great up against the opposing corner, right? So he's like, oh, this guy, the size comparison right here is phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and target this guy when he's facing the guy who's 5'9". Russell Wilson does a great job of that up against DK Metcalf. When Tyler Lockett's up against a guy that's not as quick, not as agile inside the numbers, he always targets Lockett. Well, Kyler Murray's doing the same type of thing that we see from Russell Wilson, where he's finding the matchup and he's taking advantage of that matchup. And it's very rare to see that with quarterbacks, where you just give your wide receiver a chance because you're one-on-one with somebody who you're, just superior to in whatever sense that is. Kyler Lockett's doing it. We saw, what was it, in week 1, like Hopkins and Christian Kirk, I believe, go off. And then week 2, we saw Rondale Moore and Max Williams go off, I think. And then in week 3, it was Christian Kirk and I think it was Max Williams as well. And then week 4, it was AJ Green and so. So you got to look at the matchups. And I don't believe this week, it's an okay matchup up against Green Bay. You should see plenty of the rookie Stokes over there. I still don't love that matchup, and he's going to be touchdown dependent. I think you have to go Lamb up against the Giants over there in the slot. I mean, the outside, Bradbury's good. He should, do a decent job on Amari Cooper. I think that you're just going to see a ton of volume for Lamb this week. What are y'all thinking?
Give me the better offense. Give me CeeDee Lamb.
And give me the better player. Give me CeeDee Lamb.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
That was a long story time for nothing. All right, Madison or Chubb?
Here's all this interesting analysis on matchups and corners, and we're just like, forget it, Lamb.
Yep. All right. This is tough. I'm going Chubb over Madison, but it's close. I mean, this has been a common occurrence somehow. I don't know how everybody has Chubb and Madison, but they do.
I agree with you, Chase. I'm going Chubb.
PPR. I'll you know what? Just to be different, I'm gonna go Madison.
But you really like Chubb. All right. So Devonta flex. Devonta in the flex. Leave him or go with Pittman, Claypool, or Pollard. Ooh.
Devontae Smith?
Yeah.
Give me him. Oh,
Adam, what do you got?
I got Devonta. It's close between Pittman and Devonta. I've kind of taken Claypool and a lot of these questions off just because of the hamstring injury. I still like Zeke, even though he's dealing with the knee injury. He's been beast in the last couple of weeks. It's close between Pittman and Devonta Smith, but I'm going to go with Devonta Smith in a PPR league. Jalen Hurts likes to feed him the ball.
Yeah,
I'll go Smith just because I don't
targets.
trust Carson. I don't trust Carson Wentz to throw a touchdown to his own team. So give me Devontae Smith.
You haven't needed a touchdown from him. I mean, look at this: like 12 targets, 8 targets. He's had 8 receptions, 6 and 6, putting up 59 yards or more in every contest. And we all know, like, the Ravens secondary is kind of beat up to an extent. I like Pittman a lot this week. I'm going to go Pittman in this one over Devonta Smith. I think that the targets, like, you cannot fade a guy who's seen, 32 targets over the past 3 weeks, 10 targets a game. God, dude, give me that all day long. I'm almost 11. All right, let's go to this guy, Facebook user, Damien Williams. I'm guessing that's TWO. Damien Williams, Hubbard, or Madison. Madison's a lock in this one, and I'm going to go Damien Williams over Hubbard.
Give me Hubbard and Madison, Facebook user.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hubbard and Madison. It's close, though.
All right. Oh, you're good, Hunter. No worries, man. Let's see. Where are we? Help, please. Help, please. Full PPR, Mixon, Edmonds, or Connor?
Edmonds. Avoid Mixon and Connor sucks.
Yes, okay.
I keep it simple on this side.
All right, Damien Williams, Hubbard, or Madison. Wait, have we already answered this one?
My answer won't change. I stay consistent. Hubbard, Madison.
Yep, I'm going
Same.
Williams and Madison. All right,
Can't
we have
trick me.
Gordon, Schultz, or Watkins PPR flex. I'm going to fade Watkins in this one. Automatic. God.
Gordon.
Dude, this is the same question we got earlier, right?
No,
just
Watkins
with Gordon
wasn't
Schultz. Yeah, I'm going to go Gordon still in this one. All right, Prescott or Hurts. All right, the Cowboys are frustrated, man, because they either run it the whole entire time or they pass it the whole entire time. It's so annoying because you never know what's going to happen. I guess it has more to do with like how much they're dominating going into the fourth quarter, but like we see tons of volume in weeks 1 and 2 and then see almost no volume in weeks 3 and 4 when it comes to passing attempts. The Giants have been somewhat porous up against running backs, and I think that's going to hurt Prescott's upside this week. But, I mean, I can't help but think he sees at least 2 passing touchdowns minimum. Hurts has the rushing upside. I don't like the matchup. I'm going to go Prescott.
Give me Dak.
Same.
Better player, better offense.
Here we go. You guys ready for this?
Oh, my goodness. Wilson
was my QB. Need a replacement. Goff, Winston, Ben, M. Jones, Zach Wilson, Carson Wentz, and Jimmy G are the top 7 quarterbacks available. I also have Lance stashed on my bench for when he fully becomes a starting quarterback. Who do I pick up for a long-term replacement?
You have him. His name is Lance. Jimmy G sucks. Lance, just don't worry about it. Worry about it when Lance isn't the starter. Right?
Yeah.
Then go get somebody. But I mean, Lance, you don't clog your roster up.
Yeah, I think he is going to need somebody, though, because when we're talking about Jimmy G, he doesn't have a calf strain. He has a calf contusion, which means he probably could have played this week. I don't think he's far off. I think he's a week away. And the 49ers have said Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be our starter when he comes back. They flat out have said that.
Matt Nagy said the same thing about Fields, right? If Lance comes
Andy
out
Dalton's
and plays
back,
well, but if Lance comes out and plays well, I don't see a world where they go back to Garoppolo. Like, if Lance comes out and just absolutely balls this week, I don't see it, even for a guy as stubborn as Shanahan. I would say, Tim, don't worry about it. You don't want to roster 3, right? I'm guessing this is 1 QB. Don't worry about it this week, right? Just feel out how it goes into next week and then worry about it.
If you have that many quarterbacks on your waivers, you can just stream quarterbacks from week to week. So wait and see what happens with, Lance.
Because you can put Wilson on your IR, keep an eye out on what's happening with Lance, and then go pick up like Mac Jones.
Yeah. I would say I agree with all of that, depending on how active your league is. If Mac Jones has a big week, he might be somebody might be targeting him. So if you have somebody on your bench that's like expendable, I don't mind putting on Mac Jones because I do think Trey Lance is a 1-week rental. But for all of the reasons that they're saying, like, I get if you want to leave a quarterback out there. It just depends on how well you know your other league mates.
I mean, if you have I don't know, James Conner on the bottom of your bench, drop him for that, right? That's when it becomes a need. But
you're just here to bash James Conner today.
He's awful at football. He's awful. Even in his like breakout season, he was garbage. Garbage. Hot flaming trash.
Joe Calderon asks, 12-team Superflex 4-point passing touchdowns, need 2. Teddy B or Mac Jones. I'm going Mac Jones.
QB 2.
Same.
Mac Daddy.
All right,
unfortunately, I can just never fully support Teddy Bridgewater.
We're all going
did to DJ Moore.
I think we're all going Williams on this one, correct?
Yep.
All right, Darnold or Hurts. I think we
Darnold, baby, let's go.
Yeah, I'm going Darnold as well. I think it's kind of close. This was when you were actually freezing up, I think, Adam.
Okay.
All right, Eckler or Madison as a flex. I had Henderson as a running back with Kamara.
Eckler.
Eckler, yeah. There's no question.
Not
about
even
that
close.
One. All right.
Getting
Damien
carries
Williams,
and receptions.
Hubbard or Madison need 2. I'm going to go Madison and Williams. Wait, is this the same guy?
It might be the same one.
Anytime Hunter, of course. Appreciate you supporting, of course. All right. Do you start Gaskin?
Nope.
I'm out. I love Gaskin before the season.
Unless your option is like Gaskin or rotting corpse, no.
Up against one of the best rush defenses in the NFL. Up against Tampa Bay, absolutely not. All right.
Just Williams, in general, I think the Gaskin pipe dream is dead. I think it's gone.
Definitely is dead.
All right, we got.
Dead.
You know who they should have kept is Jared Dokes. He was a real running back.
He's on their practice squad. You can come up
They
anytime.
should call him up.
All right, so we have only about 5 minutes left. Get those questions in, guys and girls. Oh man! Before we finish this one
Jets
out,
on
we
the
will
15.
be ending at 12:30 because I got to figure out all my roster stuff and I want to watch the end of this game. All right, we have Tannehill at Jacksonville or Mayfield at the Chargers. Tannehill hands down.
Mm-hmm.
All right, just picked up Madison off waiver. Dude, I'm about to mute you. I just picked up Madison off waivers. Do I start Madison or Edmonds this week? I'm big on Edmonds this week. I think he's going to have a massive one. Are we looking at Madison and being like, oh, this is a must play over Edmonds, or do you guys like Madison? I mean, do you guys like Edmonds?
Give me Edmonds because the offense is just going to be unreal. Again, he's a starting running back already, who is the running back 13. It's kind of a no-brainer. And Madison is good, but again, he's only shown to be good against Seattle. So like as much as we're picking Madison for like volume, he's the guy. Cook is out. Edmonds is just a better player. I
agree.
All right, we have PPR, Cousins versus Detroit or Darnold versus the Eagles. Man, Cousins could end up having a massive game like this week. Like this is one of those, like he might only have 30 attempts or he could end up having 40 attempts and throwing for 3 touchdowns because that's what Cousins tends to do.
Give me Donald.
Kirk Cousins has been so good. I just don't believe it. Like Kirk Cousins is the guy that consistently gets you 13 to 14 points. Like that's Kirk Cousins that's where you like it. You know, like Hitch. It's like stay right here. I'm not, not going anywhere else. That's Kirk Cousins. That's where he likes to stay usually. And I know he's been good, but I'm going to go with Sam Darnold. I think that he is. Way
Sam
more
Darnold's
upside.
the QB 7 in 4 passing touchdown leagues, right? You got to stick with that. And again,
Sam Darnold
defense is poo.
Yeah, Sam Darnold is the Konami QB breaker with 5 rushing touchdowns this year.
6. And he had like 2 long runs.
6.
He's had 2 long runs like called back with penalties. Like it's actually kind of gross how good he's been.
Man, that's tough for me. I'm going to go Kirk Cousins on this one. He actually, so you said he stays in his zone, which is what he's done his entire career, right? That's who Kirk Cousins is. But this year he's had 3 out of his 4 games over 20, and the one that he sucked, it was below 12 points. I mean, he completely killed me in one of my leagues last week. But I have to go back to him. I have to hope that he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns this week to Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen's probably going to get at least 1 or 2. I think that Kirk Cousins is going to crush this week. I'm going Kirk Cousins. All right, Prescott or Hurts? I think we answered this one with Prescott.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Madison
or Shift?
I think he meant Swift.
I'm thinking it's Swift.
Yeah. Ooh,
it's only for you. Only you can answer.
Play DeAndre Swift.
It's only for Chase. He's the only one that can answer. No pressure.
I'm actually targeting this game
Facebook user.
A lot. I'm targeting this game very heavily. And I have Swift in a lot of my lineups, but Madison is definitely a sexy opportunity over there to be had. I'm still going to go Swift because I think he's going to see the passing work towards the tail end of the game. And although Madison will have the work, I don't know how many opportunities he's going to see in the passing game. I'm going to go Swift. Very close, though.
Yeah.
I think it's win-win.
Did you type this in?
I did not. All right, Hawkinson or Schultz. I do not like Schultz up against the Giants for some weird reason. I feel like, with the Giants shutting down the tight end once, I have no idea what's happening over there. I have no idea why they've let backup tight ends scored in every single opportunity or every single week so far this season. Hawkinson has a sexy matchup up against the Vikings. Like I said, I'm targeting this game heavily. Hawkinson is my dude. Where y'all sitting?
Play your best player. Hawk over Schultz, right? You weren't drafting Schultz over Hawk, right? So you're not worried about a matchup or like a little nagging injury. Give me Hawk. Even though Hawkinson outside of week 1 has been like okay, right? But he's still better than Dalton Schultz.
100% agree.
The tight end screen god that is Schultz.
All right, PPR, Cousins versus Detroit, Darnold versus Eagles. I think we just talked about this one. I went Cousins. You both went Darnold, Nick. Right?
Yeah, Darnold.
Yes.
All right, Hubbard or Antonio Brown in the flex. Ooh, I'm going Hubbard.
What?
I'm doing it.
I thought you didn't like Hubbard. I'm going with AB. I love Antonio Brown this year.
I like him, but
biggest regret. My biggest regret is that I don't have like 100% exposure to Antonio Brown.
Against Miami. Oh man. Carolina plays Philly.
Yeah, Byron
Give me
Jones
Hubbard. Yeah, I'll take the running back over the possibility of a deep ball touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you have Howard.
Like Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Howard and
Antonio Brown's been
and
fine.
Byron Jones on the outside. Like that's tough. Like that's not an easy matchup. And they've been very good so far on the season. I think that Chris Godwin could also see a over 10 target game. I'm going to be targeting Chris Godwin in a lot of DFS this week.
Antonio Brown's only been good 1 week, so I'll take Hubbard.
All right. I'm
going to get burned by that one, I feel like.
Even if Lance gets a starting position, he's on bye next week. Yes. So still need a short-term replacement. Yeah, just wait till next week unless you need to dump a guy. I mean, you're talking about – I used to never draft a quarterback or a kicker or a defense. I would draft all running backs and wide receivers before the preseason started, and I would watch the preseason and see which ones I wanted to keep and which ones I wanted to dump. And I would pick up a quarterback, a defense, and a kicker literally the day before the season started. Like I would drag it out that far. So I don't think you need a quarterback. I would stream quarterbacks every single week. I stream tight ends half the time. So up until I started getting like 20 plus leagues. And then I was like, okay, shit, I actually need to draft a quarterback because I don't want to fuck with this every week. But yeah, I mean, you don't need to keep a quarterback on your roster, keep 3 quarterbacks on your roster. Nonetheless, just stream your quarterback every week against the best matchup possible. That's the route I go.
Unless you have James Conner, drop him and pick up another quarterback.
All right, Madison or Swift. We just answered this one with Swift. All right. Sorry about the second comment. Anytime, Nick. No big deal. All right. Mixon versus Hubbard / AJ Green. 1 point PPR. Wait, is this Hubbard. A trade question?
I don't think so. I think it's. I would
play. I don't get this one, but play Hubbard.
Yeah. And if it's a trade, then I want the Mixon side.
Oh, he's just asking if it's. Like basically, I think it's which running back or this receiver. So I'm gonna go Hubbard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Hubbard. That might be a trade question. Hold on, Mixon versus Hubbard / Green.
I don't know who this Facebook user is, but
give me Mixon.
If you're in the chat,
user.
Then go
trade
ahead and let
question,
us know, and we'll come back
Mixon.
to it. All right. Do we trust the Bills'
Imagine
defense
in 2021 having trade questions about AJ Green.
All right, that's weird.
Weird.
Do we trust Bills defense today or bench them and start no one? Okay, it depends on what your scoring is. Like, so I have 1 league, or actually I have 2 leagues. I have 2 leagues though, where like the upside, I think Carolina in like week 2 or week 3, they had 4 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and they only allowed, I think it was like 9 points or whatever it was. It wasn't a lot of points. And I ended up with 9 points. Meanwhile, if they scored over 30, I would have ended up with, and they still had the same thing, I would have ended up with negative, I think it was 4 or -5. So it's a very point heavy driven league. So a lot of the times like ESPN leagues and stuff that are set up to not advertise defenses putting up a ton of points, and it actually can hurt you in a lot of weeks to start a defense. So it really depends on how your scoring is done. If it's something where like, hey, if they put up 30 points and you only get a point per sack, a point per, turnover up against Patrick Mahomes, you might be better off actually benching the Bills defense, because I think it's going to be a plus 60 point game. Like, I don't know what the over under is. It's probably around 55 or so, if I had to take a wild guess. It's going to be over that. So it depends on your scoring, Don, but I would contemplate it if you're only getting 1 point per turnover or sack, and you can see a massive downgrade if they get over 30 points, in the points department. All right. Let's see. We already answered this one a bunch, right? I'm going Chubb. I think you guys are going Madison. Is that correct?
No, Chubb.
Chubb. Was it all 3 Chubb?
I want Madison.
Three Chubbs. Oh, 2 Chubbs.
2 Chubbs and a Madison. All right. We got, I can swap Mixon in at RB2 versus Hubbard, or play at the flex versus AJ Green.
Oh, okay. So he can essentially, you're picking 2 of those. You're picking 2 of those to start. This might be the rare scenario where you say, like, I would put Mixon at my RB2 and flex Chuba Hubbard. Like, I would play, it's essentially for me, Mixon or AJ Green. And this might be the rare case where I pick Mixon just because I don't like AJ Green.
I can't argue that.
Yeah, I'm on the same page, I think. That's close, though. Yeah, Mixon and Hubbard. But, man, Mixon could literally play like one snap and be like, oh, I can't go, and then go sit out. That's tough. Is it safe to say that Mixon will not be playing third downs regardless, and that Chris Evans is actually a possible play for really, really super deep leagues? I think it is. I just don't see Mixon playing all 3 downs.
Yeah, I think even Perine's a viable play option because I think you could see multiple drives where Mixon does not play. Like they just don't bring him in.
Give him a rest. That makes sense. All right. Let's see. OBJ, Eli Mitchell, or Claypool. Dude, OBJ was so disappointing last week. Like I'm so hurt because he was wide open.
It's not his fault though. It's because Baker's trash.
It was bad, man. It was bad. All right. Is Elijah Mitchell playing this week?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I'd go Elijah Mitchell then. I don't know. That's such a tough defense to run on. And they're going to have to pass. He'll see work in the passing game. I'm going Elijah Mitchell. I don't trust OBJ against Chargers, and I don't trust Claypool at all.
I agree. I'm going with Elijah Mitchell.
If the Bills had 16.5, well, the Bills played the Houston Texans, right? And they had 4 interceptions and 3 or 5 sacks, 6 sacks. It was something insane. Like their stats were through the fucking roof last week because they played Houston. Yeah, I guess I'd play the Bills versus Sydney. It just depends on how many points you need. I mean, all right, so this is a Monday or a Sunday night game. All right, we're talking about the Bills defense. This is a Sunday night game. So you have plenty of time to figure out if you need points or not. When it gets to that point, I'm sure that you don't have a ton of Ravens playing outside of Lamar Jackson, maybe Marquise Brown possibly, and then the Colts, Jonathan Taylor maybe. So you have plenty of time to decide whether you need to play him or not. But for right now, I'd say no. Just wait and see if you need the points or not. All right, that's gonna be all, guys. All right, let's get out of here. Woo! Let everybody know where to find you, Adam. We're gonna start with you.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter at @therealadam_H as my Twitter handle right down there. Every Monday morning, I drop an injury column on 4for4 Fantasy Football. That's where you can find my content at 4for4.com. We'll be talking about Russell Wilson, Joe Mixon, any injuries that come up this week or happen today. I'll be highlighting in that column. So you guys can get an idea of who to pick and who to prioritize on your waiver wire for the upcoming week.
Love that. Thomas, where can we find you?
Well, you can find me at Thomas FF. You can find my, fantasy walkabout every Tuesday, right? The Full Tilt Dynasty podcast every Friday. I'm right here with these two gents on Sundays, and every other week you can find Chasing Points. That's how we do it. Kind of getting all over the place here. Love it.
Spreading on out, man. And then, of course, you guys can find my articles over there at playerprofiler.com. You guys can find my rankings at Dynasty Nerds. For Dynasty rankings, you guys can find me every other week on Dynasty Happy Hours, Chasing Points with Thomas, who we already mentioned. Of course, the dose score over there at Fantasy Intervention, fantasyintervention.com/DOCE to figure out which pass catching running backs you want to play and which ones to avoid. And then you guys can find all of my future content as well at trophysmack.com. Once again, that's trophysmack.com. We're launching off our content side. Thomas is actually doing our images and fantasy football discussion. Huge shout out to you guys. Thank you all for asking all the questions. Good luck today in your games. Hey, we appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you guys for asking us questions. And thank you all for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We're out.